welcome back. We are trying to take a look at what's happening in this world of markets today. I'm Susan Littlefield here on the Rural Radio Network. Joining us, of course, is going to be Jim McCormick. Jim is with agmarket.net. And obviously, Jim, weather in South America has been a continued market discussion.
It has, and what's interesting, Susan, we're starting to see a little bit of a pattern change. The northern Brazil has been too wet. Southern Brazil and Argentina's been a little bit too dry. The pattern is now switching. Our northern part is drying out, which is going to allow harvest to accelerate and allow the safrinha crop to get planted. And then on the other hand, southern parts of Brazil and Argentina that have been struggling to get those critical rains, they are now lined up to get it. So that should help stabilize the southern part of the continent's crops.
So how is planting and harvest progress going right now, knowing there's been a lot of adverse weather?
They have been a little bit behind pace, but they did get the crop planted a little bit behind. So it should be expected to be a little bit behind pace. But with this weather breaks like it's forecasted, they can move equipment they move around equipment fast and furious. So they could easily catch up.
And how trade and tariff has been a big topic as well. Finally getting some direction, maybe?
We are finally getting at least a direction from President Trump. Several times he's threatened tariffs, and then they essentially pulled them off. This time around, he did hit the tariffs on pretty much everybody in the world that exports essentially steel and aluminum to us. Canada and Mexico are big players in that market. They are trying to talk with the trade administration, the Trump administration, about it. We'll see what happens, Susan. There has been reciprocal tariffs back against it, but that could happen if they make no progress on these talks.
So then how are the fund positions weighing into everything?
Right now, the funds in the corn are carrying one of the biggest positions they've ever carried for this time of year. What's interesting in the corn specifically, if the funds want to buy more, the farmer's pretty much out of grain. He's got 30% left to sell. So the funds want to control this market and they want to buy more. They are going to push this market higher. On the other hand, with all that grain being sold by the producer, the end user doesn't need to bid up. So if the funds do get out because the weather's looking better and the trade war is heating up, there's no one to catch that falling knife as well. So we're setting for some pretty volatile times when normally it's relatively quiet.
And to wrap up everything, this cattle market is back on the downside once again. Is this how we might be finishing out the trade today?
Well, right now, like the cattle market, they up an escalator, down an elevator shaft. Right now, this cattle market feels like maybe we put at least a temporary top in.
All right, we got a lot that we're going to dive into coming up later today during the Channel Final Bell. Included in that is going to be the WASDE report, where Jim will break everything down for us. And you can find out all the WASDE information on our website and check out the podcast for the Channel Final Bell. You can find that at ruralradionetwork.com. I'm Susan Littlefield for the Rural Radio Network.